streaming, and let's see what happens. We'll see what happens. I know I got you guys on the phone right now trying to figure this out. And yes, we're back once again. Let me go ahead and shoot everybody, not in the foot, but let me see if I can get you guys the live stream kind of going now. Let's see. We'll do this. We'll copy this. And then we'll go over to here. And then we'll do this. And we'll post it in Discord and see if we can continue the live stream. You know. Let's see. Okay, let me get down to the bottom. And we'll paste this. All right. We're trying again. We're trying again. So. I made a little bit of a change. So, now, let's see. I'll just leave you guys on there. Well, actually, I only got 39% left in my battery. So, I'm going to have to switch you guys like that. Sorry, I had to switch you guys like that. So what happened? We lost MTBK. We lost, wow, we lost all you guys. Okay, well, we'll disconnect. Oh, there you are. You guys snuck up on me. Okay, if everybody was wondering what I was doing, I was changing around the codecs on OBS to see if I can get everything to balance correctly. Now, obviously, I think I got it to balance correctly. Well, welcome back, guys. We see you in there. So, now that I get everything rebalanced again, sorry, I have to get a charger on my phone here. Let's see. Now I can get a charger on my phone, hopefully. Hopefully it will work. So, well, that ain't it. Is that it right there? Yay, I got a charger on there. Okay, guys, sorry about all the disruption and everything else. I know it's late and everything else, but I was kind of upset that, you know, the first live stream failed, which I am going to erase that one, but I'm going to say welcome back once again. Hopefully we'll get more than a few people here, so hopefully we have everything cooking. Okay, getting back to the fact of talking about smooth motion. A lot of people are going to say they don't like smooth motion, right? I understand that. You know, I understand why they don't like it. If you get a 50 series card, you can put your 2 cents into the chat and let me know what you think about it. So graphics cards, codecs used for OBS, AV1, H.265, H.264, different settings. Yes, I could do NVEC at 265 or 264, but I could do NVEC at AV1. It seems that what I did was I didn't really look. I thought I had it set for my graphics card to do all the work on live streaming. Guess what? I didn't. I didn't look. It was set for H.264 NVEC encoding. So it's a little bit of the GPU, a little bit of the CPU, a little bit of each. So now that I got it all set towards the GPU, hopefully we don't lose signal. Hopefully we don't have any problems. But that's just for live streaming. When it comes to doing videos under AV1, you got to have the right programs for that, for it to work. I have everything set on H.264, on the editor that I use, and it doesn't accept AV1 encoding. So I got to work on that, because I guess I'm stuck in my old ways of using, programs that are simplistic other than using the complicated stuff. So I guess I need to start with the complicated stuff, like DaVinci Resolve and stuff like that, which I have, but I haven't totally got the grasp of it yet. So, but I use Microsoft's Clipchamp, which is pretty easy to use, and it helps me, editing the videos a little bit faster. And when I get all done with it, it only takes like between maybe 2 to 3 minutes, and the video's all formatted, ready to go for YouTube. So, but I gotta learn DaVinci Resolve. And hopefully everybody understands that this is good. I'm just going to leave the first part on for the live stream, and I'm going to make this the second part of the live stream, so we can move on and, have 2 parts in one evening. Okay, so MTBK says, I was just reading the video cards article about smooth motion and where to find the settings. It's just like you said. It's in settings, global settings. Smooth motion is off. Here and grayed out. Yes, it is. Okay. But if it was activated for the 40 series, it wouldn't be grayed out. It wouldn't say off. It would give you that functioning box in order to enable or disable it. But it doesn't. I guess because it's still in preview. It's still on the preview driver, which I'm not going to install a preview driver onto my PC. I am hell-bent against beta drivers. I had so much bad experience years ago with beta drivers. It was a nightmare and a half. So I don't like beta drivers, because if they're not Microsoft signed, then how reliable are they going to be? They're going to be so damn buggy because they're not, complete. It's just like if you go to Microsoft's dev channel, like the Canary dev channel, and test out their new upcoming operating system and stuff like that, it's going to be buggy as hell, especially if you're doing content creating on your PC. You want the least amount of bugs you can have on your PC. You want to be able to have full control, everything working just great with no problems. So I did have to think about this and come up with a decision. I'm going to have to make a decision. Am I going to game on my PC, content create, and do business all at one on one of my, on my main PC? So Thinking about it, I might have to make a decision of making a second computer to put over here. I have to put one right here and make that for a gaming PC. And use this for business and use this for content creating. So put one over here for gaming, one over here for content creating. Might not have much of a choice. So I'm going to have to make that decision. MTBK says, as discussed earlier, a chatbot mentioned smooth motion is unlocked for preview version 590.26. I don't know the update times, but estimated to be ready in 2 months, give or take. I do agree with that, but I think they're not going to release smooth motion for 40 series until after they launch the 50 series super cards. That's kind of my premonition about that. They might release it earlier, but I have a premonition they might not release it until after the super series is launched. Don't know why. Maybe they're trying to get the matter of how much they're going to sell these graphics cards for, and they don't want to add any more eye candy to the 40 series because it kind of takes away from the new 50 series. Could be that too. Because I guarantee people are going to be all over the 5070 at 18 gigabytes of VRAM. They're going to be all over it because now it's approaching almost 20 gigabytes of VRAM, close to what the 7900 XT performs at. It's VRAM. So, and then you're going to have the 5070 Ti probably is going to have what? Anybody want to take a guess on how much VRAM that's going to have? The 5070 Ti? We all know that the 5080, the Super Series, it might come with 24 or 32 gigabytes of VRAM. The 5080. So the 5070 might hit 24 gigabytes of VRAM. The 5070 Ti might have 24. 5070 Ti Super might have 24 gigabytes of VRAM. So, forgot to mention for the RTX 40 series, Ada Lovelace. Yeah. Well, look at it this way. They've given us, when it comes to the software, they've given us everything but multi-frame generation on the 40 series, and they've given us and the smooth motion. Those are really basically the only two really that they didn't give us from the 50 series to the 40 series. So, but if they did a preview on the smooth motion, then there's only one thing that the 50 series has that the 40 series doesn't have, is the multi-frame generation. It's got the CNN model and it's got the transformer model. But the CNN model runs really well with anything you do on your 40 series card. You can try the transformer model, see if you like it, see if it runs well for you. Me, I just turn both of them off. If I'm playing Cyberpunk, I turn both of them off. I know how much FPS I'm getting with no frame generation. I know how much FPS I'm getting with frame generation on. You know, I run it at medium settings. I don't run it on high or ultra. I run it right in the middle. I don't need all the extra eye candy or anything else. I just want to play the game. Like the consumer, they're not really, you know, if they only can afford a certain level of graphics card, like low entry level or mid-grade graphics card, they're not looking for a ball-buster system. They're looking for something they can game with. So keep that in mind. You know, they're only looking for something they can game with. It's either that or they're going to a console game, but they realize that going to a console It doesn't have the extra features that a desktop PC has, or even a laptop. Even doesn't have the extra features that a laptop has. You know, I mean, it's not, you know, even with my smart TV, I can take and put Google Chrome on my smart TV and search the internet through my smart TV. Now, wouldn't you have thought that if all this, you know, power that this console has, wouldn't they add that extra feature into it? Maybe they did on the Pro Series. Maybe they didn't. Who knows? I don't have the PS5 in front of me, so I don't know. But it would be just, if they did that, it'd be like running a gaming PC on a console. But then you're going to need a keyboard, and then, you know, you might be able to get away with using a controller for a mouse, or you're going to need a separate mouse. And then, you know what, you got a desktop PC. But the functionality might be a little bit different. It might run a little bit slower on the internet because with it needing at least 1 gigabyte of RAM to open up a page. The way Google Chrome acts now these days takes about 1 gig to run an open page on Chrome. So that might be a little bit of a letdown if you do it on a console, because you might only have like 16 gigs of system RAM, unified RAM or whatever, and it might not give you enough to go that route. So something to think about, especially if you got a gaming PC that you spent your hard-earned money building. Might be low end, but you can game on it with your controller and everything else, and your mouse and keyboard. You can still surf the net, watch movies, and play your game at the same time if you got it set up just right. Don't you guys agree with that, or you disagree with that? Let me know what you think. Put your comments in there. Let me know what you think, because you got such a multi-advantage on a desktop. Even though that, you know, some of the software people don't care for, you know, I mean, come on, guys. Let's get down to the nitty-gritty. I mean, I can understand if you don't really care for some of the software when it comes with your graphics card, but you pay for the hardware and you get all the software perks. So basically, you get free updates for as long as you can get them on your graphics card. So there's graphics cards that NVIDIA has down in the 10 series or the 1000 series. So that are still getting updates. So it's not like that they're leaving you high and dry. I mean, for a lot of years, a lot of updates. They spent a lot of money doing these updates. These updates are not free. They have to pay people to do the coding and everything else. So don't think this software is, you know, because you as a consumer get it for free, but the company pays for it. So every month that when they launch a new update, they're paying people for this. Even though your hardware is paid for, if you break it down month by month and how many updates you get with your graphics card, you would see how much money you're saving with your graphics card. Even though the performance might not be tip-top shape, but the software, the cost of the software that you get for free, come on, it's obvious. And you know, I respect companies for that because they don't have to do these updates. You know, they don't have to give you new eye candy to work with. They don't have to do this. But they do. Because the way that, even though that sometimes their software might be crap to somebody, that might be crap to some people, but they're giving you something. They can't control how you build your PC. Okay, let's just get this out in the open. They cannot control how you build your PC. You build it the way you want to build it. Okay? If your platform doesn't meet to the standard of that graphics card, don't expect the software to work correctly. Okay? You have to build your PC to meet the standard of your graphics card. You can't just willy-nilly a computer and say, I hope it works. I mean, I wish it was that easy, but it's not. It's not. Everything's not plug and play. Everybody has to get that out of their mind. That's a thing Microsoft came up with years ago. Oh, everything's plug and play. That's what they said in the 80s. Oh, more water. That's what they said in the 80s. Oh, everything's plug and play. Your driver should run correctly. That was a lie. That was the biggest lie in the world. Now, Windows 95, that was the biggest lie. Because how many versions of Windows 95 do they have? Far as I know, that they only have they might have more, but I don't know yet. But we'll find out. But I know they have 3 different versions of Windows 95. They have 2 different versions of Windows 98, and so on and so forth. So, how many versions they got of Windows 11? Let's see, going from 22H1, 22H2, then 23H2, then 24H2, and or there was no H1. And now they're coming up with 25H2. How many versions of Windows 11 are there? Think about it. So, keep that in mind. Let's see. Machine says I like the desktop version better, and I can change out hardware when I like. Exactly. It's not soldered in. I'm getting my Milo. Oh, and I'm out. I think I'm out. Let's see. Am I out or am I in? Nope. Got another one. I forgot I opened up like 2 of them. Didn't know why. Okay. So, you're right. You can change your hardware anytime you want with your own built PC, because the only parts on, current motherboards right now, back in the 80s, late 80s, what they were doing is they took the sound card off of the motherboard. They took the VGA off the motherboard, okay? And you just had the motherboard with no video, no sound, and you plug in your own sound card, if you guys remember the old sound cards, and you plugged in your own video card, but there was a little problem with the sound card, because it was like the drivers were getting corrupted all the time because they were conflicting with other pieces of hardware on the motherboard, and it became a mess. So companies just said, screw it. We're going to build it onto the motherboard, leave it there, and that's the end of the story. But they do sell motherboards without sound cards. So, but back then it was the thing. Everybody was putting in their own individual sound cards and everything else. I thought it was a cool deal. I had my own motherboard with separate audio, separate video. You know, you plug in your RAM, your CPU, you're done. I thought it was a little bit better of a deal because you can pick your own sound card. But now whatever motherboard you buy, that's the sound card you get. Unless you decide you want to plug in an internal sound card to the PCIe lanes. But if you do that, what will happen is this. It'll take away from, it might take away from the actual X16 from your video card. And some video cards are got built-in HDMI sound card already on it, and it coordinates with the built-in sound card on your motherboard. Sometimes you can get a hiccup and have a driver influx between the two, so you got to make sure that all your drivers are 100% before anything. So, reading what you guys wrote. The range is big. For some, 16 gigabyte VRAM is not enough, and some laptops don't have a MUX switch. Yeah, true. And having issues showing game controllers inputs in a recording when using the laptop display. That's I've heard about that, to where, you know, basically that's what happened back years ago. It was the same deal when it comes to integrated graphics on the chipset, or the chip, the CPU chip. But as things went along and NVIDIA broke out of their shell, ATI was sold to AMD. AMD buying up a bunch of companies, trying to create the new Radeon section, you know, and went from there. So it was a, back in the day, it was a mess. The level of extra work that's needed to be done until the presentation meets the desired quality level is noticeable, and having beefier desktop hardware might be the smarter approach, which I do agree. If you want to live stream and game, I'm gonna take and think about this very hard and carefully. I would rather have a second. I know I said I'd rather keep everything on one system, but I'm coming to the decision that that approach might not be working so well. Because if I'm doing content creating, I want to keep my system for content creating only and have another computer for gaming only. So I want to be able to split the two. And yes, I know I'm going to have to use a capture card going from one PC to the next. I already know this. I know I'm going to have to get a better capture card that does 4K. I know I'm going to have to get a monitor that does 4K. For the simple fact, if I'm going to get the video camera working correctly at 4K, I'm going to need a 4K monitor. I know I can't get around that. If I want the videos to look better and crisper and everything else, I'm going to need a 4K monitor, because if I don't and I'm running at 1080p, then that means my video streaming is going to be running at 1080p. So, to avoid all this, I got to start with my monitor and make it a 4K monitor to get everything to go 4K. I know I love 1080p, but You guys want crisper and cleaner pictures, so I'm going to have to move everything up to 4K. I'm not going to have much of a choice. In order for me to look more professional, I'm going to have to take and bring it up to the next level. Not a matter of choice. So, exactly. The NVIDIA drivers don't recognize the GPU when integrated graphics is the primary display adapter. So, the on-screen overlay option are not available. Workarounds exist though. Workarounds do exist. I do agree. It doesn't matter as much when I play my game, but because it too shows inputs. Learning new things is fun most days. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Welcome back, Cyborg. Welcome back. I'm sorry that I had to cut off because I had to take and clear my head and go outside, think about what I'm going to do next to get the live stream back up and running, and I did. So, took me a little bit, but I thought about it and changed a couple things around on OBS, and it worked so far. Hopefully the picture looks better, guys. Tell me if it does or it doesn't. I moved a couple things around, and it seems to work. And the internet's saying it's staying stable, so thank you, Cyborg. Thank you for the welcome back. I do appreciate it. So let's see how far this stream's gonna go, which it should go. I'm gonna try to go another hour. Let me see. I don't want to spoil you guys too much because I know I do that a lot. I spoil you guys too much. Just kidding. Oh my God. I can see it now. Oh my God, Jay's spoiling us too much again. I can't handle it anymore. Well, let's see. On the first stream, I got 1 hour and 12 minutes and 37 seconds. And now I got 50 minutes added on to that. So that's 2 hours and 2 minutes and 37 seconds that I already got on the stream. Okay. Yeah, it's working this time. Well, I didn't have much of a choice. It looks like I had no other choice but to move it to AV1 encoding. And that's exactly what I did. I put it on AV1 NVEC encoder. I should have been running that all along. Because now my CPU is sitting pretty at 45 Celsius. Now my GPU's at 34 Celsius. So, and I'm using AV1, which is using the graphics card. Wow. Big difference, big difference. But I still want to get a new camera. This camera sucks. I want to get one of those cameras that are, what they say, ones that follow the motion, you know, those motion kind of cameras. I think they're like, what, $80 or something. You know what? I'm going to take you guys with me and we're going to go look at the cameras. How about that? So, now that we're on the action screen, let me see if I can pull up DuckDuckGo, which I got DuckDuckGo right here. I pulled it up. So let's go to Amazon. I know the video title's not going to be the same as what we're talking about right now. So, let's see. What's it called? No. What's it called? Live streaming camera or something? Live. Okay. Whoa, late one tonight. Yeah, Dakota, it is. I decided to jump off of the Discord voice chat and come and fix the problem. That's what I was trying to think about. This one's a 1080p webcam. And I know somebody hit the button on Discord. Jasper Tech. Best webcams for every budget 2025. I'll look into that after I get done with the live stream there, Cyborg. After I get done with the live stream, I'll have a gander in that, you know. But thanks for posting that on Discord. I do appreciate it. I think it's something like this. No, it wasn't that one. It wasn't that one. Wasn't that one. I think it's something like this. The Osbot. Osbot Tiny SC 1080p. This is the Tiny 2 webcam, voice control, PTZ, AI tracking, multi-mode, something like that. Conference room 20x, IP, RS-232, IP live, for IP live streaming. That might be a good one because it comes with the remote. I don't know. You guys tell me. I don't want to get something that's garbage. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure I get something that's going to work. That's going to be reliable every time. They got this one here. Looks like it's a streaming camera with half sensor gesture control. 60 FPS. I don't use anything more than 60 FPS anyway, so. And YouTube doesn't put it out any more than 60 FPS anyway. So I don't think going to a really expensive camera is the best way to go, but you know. You guys tell me, man. I mean, I'm trying to find something. Because this camera right here is about pushed my literally end bit, you know. And I know in order for me to get the best visuals, I'm going to end up having to spend the money to get the best visuals. They got this one here. Autofocus. Sony sensor. That looks interesting. But I don't like the clip at the bottom, though. That looks... I hate those clips that they use for your TV monitors. I really don't like those. Those are very unreliable. So... But they got the Osbot Tiny 2. That might be a good one. UHD 4K 12X. I don't know. They got an Insta360 Link 2. I heard about these. They got AI noise canceling mic, gesture control. A lot of people are talking about these right here, these Insta360 Link 2s. What do you guys think about those? You know, it's $200, but if I were to take and spend, you know, for the next 2 years on 2 cameras, it would equal around $200. So maybe that's something I need to think about. I don't think so. Not for $200. Wireless webcam. It's still not going to be wireless because you still got to plug it in for the battery. They got this one here, 4K webcam with a microphone. You guys ain't saying much. I'm just trying to rattle some stuff off here, you know. Jay, take your time, do the research, read reviews, give recommendations. On demand is tough. Hello there, watery events. Welcome back to the stream. Yes, all is well. I spent 3 days over in Los Angeles, driving about 1,200 miles round trip. And I know you guys are going to say, well, Los Angeles ain't 1,200 miles away from you. I know it's not. It's only a couple hundred miles. You know, about 300 and some odd miles. But did about 1,200 miles because I had a lot of deliveries and a lot of taking around and doing my thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, not that kind of thing. Don't think about it. Ain't going there. Ain't that kind of thing. So, but yeah, everything all is well here. And I do appreciate you asking. Hey, some video has been shared on Discord for webcam comparison. Yeah, I just saw that there, MTBK. Cyborg's the one that posted that. I already seen that. I said after I get done with doing the live stream, I was going to take and go back and look at it. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to watch somebody else's video while I'm doing a live stream, because that, you know, that's kind of, it's not going to work. YouTube's going to have their little mealy fingers in there saying, well, you know what, you can't do this because they didn't give you consent to use their video for your live stream. So you have to either take it out or erase your video. So yeah, I have to watch it after the fact the live stream's done. So, I live in Seattle and drive to Vegas once a year. 1,600 miles sucks to drive. Yes. Yes, it does. Believe it or not, it does suck. But I'm doing it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday for the next year. Driving between 16 to 2,000 miles in 3 days. So, I got to get used to it. It looks like I'm going to be doing about maybe 1 oil change a month or 2 months. Maybe once a month or 2 months, maybe. Who knows? It's going to be crazy. I need to get me a GoPro, guys. I need to get me a GoPro and put it up live. And do the, you know, when I'm doing my driving out there, you guys can hear me cussing up a damn storm. Trust me. You know I got the driver mentality, and when people do the nastiest and stupidest things when they drive, you just got to say something about it. And no, it's not road rage. It's Jay's rage. So, you know how that goes, right? Y'all know that. This one doesn't look like a bad camera. Let's see. Let's look at this up. Let's look this up here. Let's look this up here. Live streaming 10x variable focus PC webcam, USB HDMI simultaneously. Okay. Output video conferencing, close-up, zoom in and out, webcam for online teaching and training. $5 to 50 millimeter 10x zoom lens. HDMI and USB simultaneously output. USB Type-C power supply. Connect USB cable to PC. HDMI cable to your TV displayer. Look at it, it says displayer. Shouldn't have said display. They put an ER at the end of that. Spelling issues. Oh my God, he didn't go to school? What are you doing, man? It can achieve HD, Ultra HD 3840x 2160, 30 FPS video output, which is not new because that's about basically YouTube specs. Which the new video format can achieve up to 50% more compression than H.264. Means that it can transmit the same quality video using less bandwidth or storage. Something don't sound right here. Something does not sound right with this. So you're telling me it's going to use the CPU at 30 FPS, using H2, says 50% more compression than H.264, but it says it uses H.264 at 30 FPS. You got 1 minute, it says 30 FPS over here. H.264 at 30 FPS. Photo sensor technology. Guys, I must be losing my mind, but this camera doesn't seem to be cutting the cheese. Probably does cut the cheese. It probably smells like shit too. But for $140, I don't know. Okay. Make sure your trans and brake fluid is up to snuff. Well, actually, they're clean and nice and ruby on the transmission side. The brakes, nice and clean and clear. The brakes are solid. The tires are solid. But also, too, the fluid in the radiator, solid. The oil, solid. The power steering pump, solid. So, yeah, I went through the car nook and cranny. It's solid. Got AC, too. I'm happy with that. So, what's some videos on cameras for streaming? I'm going to tell you, I really don't know. They got one here for 69 bucks. That's 1080p, 100 FPS webcam for PC. AI framing streaming camera. I don't know. They say a 4K webcam for PC with Sony sensor. They got this one here for $35. They got this one here. I just don't know what to pick. My God, I just don't know what to pick, guys. I really don't. When it comes to the camera, I cannot tell you what to pick. I can't, I mean, I don't know. I got the power steering pump in my arms. MTBK, you're bad, man. I just moved my main rig from the latest Linux Mint to Devon 13. I'm happy now. I haven't heard, I mean, look, when it comes to your PC, if you're happy with it, I'm happy with it. Because your satisfaction when you build a PC is what you want, what you expect out of your PC. Now, you don't want to wind up with the turd. Then, yeah, I can see why you switch from Windows to Linux. Because the way Windows has been acting lately, it's been turning everybody's PC into a freaking turd. So, yeah. I am on Nora 42 right now. Oh, that's cool. They're fake frames. Let's see. Let's go one more to see if I can find. Well, they got one here for $450. 451. Auto tracking focus IP remote. Okay. They got a USB 4 megapixels. Jeez. They're really stepping up on it. I mean, you pay for what you know, if you want quality, you pay for quality, I guess, when it comes to the cameras. 4K 12 megapixels, that's kind of low. "12 megapixels, that's kind of low. Oh. That's like telephone quality. You guys got any ideas, please shoot them at me. Because I can tell you right now, eBay does, or that's not eBay, that's Amazon. It's not really looking like it's 100% when it comes to cameras. Now this one I have seen a video on. This one right here. This one, the guy moved from one side of the building to the other side of the building, and the camera tracked him from point A to point B. So I don't know if it's just the AI tracking for almost $550. But like I said, if you want quality, you pay for quality, I guess. So I guess that's how it works now these days. So, just FYI, I've been a Linux user since 2.1 in 2002. I still use Windows, but only when I have to. Hey, that's cool there, watery events. That's cool. I understand that. I've been on Windows ever since 1.0. Back when they didn't have all the eye candy and everything else. So I've been on it for I've been on Windows for forever. I just started dabbling into recently with Linux. But I made a small mini test PC for graphics cards to run on Linux, to test on Steam. It runs pretty good. Let me grab that's way over there. I'll grab it later, but it runs pretty good. So 4K is 8 million pixels. I know. But I think they got them a little bit higher as far as the pixels. What I'm trying to accomplish is getting my camera to the tip-top shape that you see all these big reviewers having. But I know they got a big old camera that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I'm trying to see if there's something on the market that's within a decent price that will give me that same kind of, output for live streaming and video editing, or video for making videos. So I'm still looking. Some Logitech C720, I think, delivered solid quality back in the days. I paid $90 for some Razer webcam that annoyed me. Oh my God. With its autofocus. It doesn't need to be that expensive. Oh, yeah. I was just looking for something that, you can control it with the remote, for the focus when you got to get into nice shots and everything else. You could do it by remote. And, if you want to pan the camera right or left, so you can do that manually. I'm not looking for auto. I'm just looking for something manual that has remote control, that I can control the camera where it sits. So I'm not just focused like this all the time, and I don't have any, I have to lean forward, to get a close-up shot. You know what I mean? So I just want to be able to get a close-up shot without having to lean forward, lean back, move it side, move it to the side, moving it forward, moving it back. And basically I'm doing all the work and the camera's not doing nothing. Basically, I want the camera to do something. So I stick with the Logitech for most part. Great support. I grew up just outside of Redmond, so I was always an underdog. Oh, don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I've been there a lot of time. I started on Linux in 2007 with Devin when it was 16. Well, like I said, I'm learning Linux. As old as I am, I'm learning something new. So that way, when I get more familiar with Linux, I'm riding right now with Linux Mint. you know, just to get a feel of it, just to see what it can do, what I can do to make, you know, my gaming a little bit better. It seems that you get, you know, it has less bloatware and gives you a little bit better response than Windows if it's set up correctly. So setting it up takes a little time. You don't get the newest drivers with your hardware. That's kind of a downfall. Not unless you're using a different type Linux to where, you know, it's got what, 21 different distros or 25 different distros or something like that. So some people told me I should go to Pop OS. You know, they told me that I should go to Pop OS. So everybody's got their flavor. Like I said, in time, I'm going to switch to a different distro to check it out and see maybe it's something I like better than Mint. So we'll have to see. Have you tried overclocking with an NVIDIA card? You will need green with envy. Oh, on Linux, yeah. But have I tried to overclock it on Windows? I have a 4070, and yeah, I've already overclocked it with Windows. But the problem is with Linux, it doesn't play nice with NVIDIA. A lot of people are complaining about it. They wish NVIDIA would step up to the plate and make the driver sequencing a lot better and stick their hands in there and give some people a better way to go. But seems like a lot of people are saying AMD is the best way to go when it comes to Linux. So, because you'll see a difference. You won't have as many problems with AMD as you do with NVIDIA. That's what they're saying. And as far as my experience at this point, using a GTX 1650, which is still, I mean, on Windows with NVIDIA, you can still use the up-to-date drivers. Like, right now, I could use the newest driver with the GTX 1650 because NVIDIA allows it. Don't ask me why. It still works. So, the Linux scheduler is so much more efficient than Windows. I do agree with that. With how much less overhead and less resources it uses, the only downside is the translation layers of DXVK and VKD3D. Yeah. But I'm sure in time it'll get better. For performance loss in gaming compared to Windows with native DirectX. Intel works well as well, but AMD is the best bet now on Linux. Yeah, I'm starting to see that because when on this little potato I got here that I installed Linux on, I first tried the GTX 1650. I was getting like 50 or 55 FPS. You know, like 47 or 48 on the 1%. Somewhere in there. But it still played Cyberpunk. Not to the fullest of, to where you got Ultra and all that. But you tone it down a little bit, it'll play it. It did on this little potato I got. So, it works. I have a 9070 XT and a 7800 X3D for my Linux PC. Well, bro, let me explain this. Not everybody can afford high-end PC parts. The way I based my channel was I based it upon lower end. The reason why is because people that can't afford much look at the lower end more than they do the mid-grade. They just want something. They don't care about FPS. They don't care about anything else. The only thing they care about if it's stuttering or it's artifacting. Two things they only care about. If it's not doing either one and it's playing great, they can care less what the FPS is. Just as long as they can play their game. It's just like when you're on a console game. You're not I mean, back years ago when I was playing the, what was it? Nintendo. I wasn't looking for FPS. You think they showed FPS on a Nintendo? No. Some of the people are old school players. They just want to play the game. They don't care about anything else. As long as they can see the visuals correctly, as long as they have good gameplay, they can care less about anything else. I can understand that buying entry-level parts, because that's pretty much what it comes down to. You get people out there saying, well, and they say like this, well, my PC gets 600 FPS. It's just blasting everything out and, looks so good and everything else. And then you got this little guy over here just like, yeah, I understand. And they're just running 1080p, 60 hertz. They're running a RX 6600 on a 11th gen, motherboard. And they're just playing their game and being happy. They're not into all this freakazoid kind of stuff. So, the little guy that wants to upgrade their stuff, but working within a certain budget, I always try to help out. If people want to do ball busting high end and everything else, then you got a deep pocket, then we can understand where you come from. But always look out for the little guy, even though that you got something that they don't have. Always make sure you look out for that little man. Because that little man one day could hit it big, and it could come a time to where that little man could help you out. I always look at the guys that don't have big systems, and I try to help them out to make their systems better and more efficient, to where they can play the games that they want. But I never, ever criticize anybody about their system. I give them suggestions on to make it better, but criticizing their systems, just because, if I had something bigger, doesn't mean I'm doing better than they are. They're having fun. Why am I wrapping my brain around something that does not need to be there? Why am I not having fun like them? You see my point? I'm wrapping my head around both sides of the field. Having fun with all my subscribers and viewers. Yeah, we can get on here. A couple of the subscribers here. I play the game. They asked me to change some of the settings. I don't have no problem with that. I'm going along with it. I'm down with it. But it's giving them an idea of what they can do with their low-end PC. I say mine's low-end because pretty much it's set up that way. It's set up on the low-end side. You know, I have no problem running the GTX 1650. That's only 4 gigabytes of VRAM. I can have fun with that. I'm not worried about the visualizations. That's meaningless to me. As long as I can see the characters, as long as I can see a little bit of foliage, as long as I can see the field of view, and I'm having fun with whoever's playing, you know, we're playing, you know, with different people on the same game. I'm having a blast. I'm not worried about the FPS. It's meaningless. As long as there's two things that I'm only worried about. One is the artifacting, and the other one is the stuttering. And if I'm not getting neither one, and my temperatures are normal on my PC for my GPU and CPU, FPS doesn't mean nothing to me. Nothing. And that's the way the little guy looks at it. So, you know, let's look for the little guy, try to help out that little guy, you know, to try to make his PC better so that way, you know, he can get out there and play the games too. We're not worried about what kind of settings they're using. We can help them tweak that to make it better for them. You know. So guys, remember, if you got a heavy system that you paid a lot of money for, but do keep in mind when somebody asks you a question, hey, how do you do this? Don't criticize them. Try to help them. Try to be the good guy and be the best guy and help them out. That's all I'm saying. So, let me read what you guys are writing. Let's see. 11700K and a 6950 XT, and I'm now running Devon 13. I game a little, but I do a lot of database work too. Cool. So I need the stability. Well, the 6950 XT will do you really good on that. 11700K? Yeah, I can see it. Maybe 12700K with DDR5. I was thinking about that too. The 12700K with DDR5. I don't know why. It was just popping into my mind. I really only play 7 days to die and CS2. Go. I'm proud of my system, but I would never hate on another person's system. Yeah. I don't hate on another person's system. I try to help them to make it better at a lower cost. My system is an AM4 system with a 4070 that I got on a good sale and did a little work for it, but I got it. So that was back a couple years back when I built this system. And I've been rocking on it ever since, and I haven't stopped. So there it is. Unless they use a Chromebook. Oh my God. Chromebook. Oh, guys. Even if you got a Chromebook, find a way to rip out the operating system to that. And at least if you're going to have a Google system, put in Android, the latest Android operating system, into that Chromebook. You can save yourself a lot of headache, which they do give away the Android OS out there on YouTube, or not YouTube, on the Interboob for free. So I found quite a few of them that you should be able to take a Chrome OS book change the operating system, make it Android, and you got yourself a big telephone. So, I'm just saying. An experiment you probably don't want to do. Or a 4060 kind of laptop, how does that? I don't see anything wrong with the 4060 laptop. I don't. There's many things you can do with it. For longevity of futuristic, if you want to continue with it, there's a lot of things you can do with it. So, yeah. I mean, you can, if it's got soldered in RAM, you probably can change out the soldered in RAM with the beefier soldered in RAM, if you know what you're doing. If it's got 8 gigabytes, you might be able to put in 16 gigabytes to it. But check the BIOS version and check the motherboard manufacturer for that laptop to see its max capabilities before you decide to put more unified RAM in there. So, I just installed Linux Mint on my local church's 2015 laptop. I saved them so much money, and they are happy just because it's working. There you go. There you go. You don't need a lot of hard drive for Linux Mint. You don't need a lot of hard drive. You don't need a lot of system RAM neither. So, but I was running mine, the Linux Mint, on 32 gigs of ECC memory. And I was using a Xeon processor and running an AMD graphics card. And I was sitting there playing on Steam with Cyberpunk 2077. No stutters, between 50 and 60 FPS all day long, rocking away, just having fun. So, didn't have no artifacting, didn't have no stuttering. It didn't look so well when you guys were looking at it in the capture card, because my capture card sucks when I'm connecting a separate PC to mine. It just plainly sucks. So, I got to get a different capture card. Actually, I got to make a few changes. Like getting everything up to a 4K standard, kind of. So, but as long as you guys can see my videos right now, and hopefully everything looks clear. Hopefully. That means more to me to make sure everything looks good to you guys. I came a long way since my first time being on YouTube and starting this channel. So, and I'm just saying, guys, simple. You don't need a big old honker system. You really don't. You can get away at entry level. You might not be able to play all the games you really want. But how many games are you actually gonna play in a day? How many? Some people are only playing like 3 different games a day. Some people are just playing one game and one game only. So you have to think about how many games you're going to play on your PC in one day. And then look at your system and say, okay, well, I'm only going to play one game. So you think in your mind, should you base your PC around one game, or should you base it around multiple games? Smart thing is to base it around multiple games. Even though if you don't play them or anything else, just make sure your PC is powerful enough to play different games that you're going to be happy with. That's the reason why some of the games, you got some free games out there. Test your PC on some of the free games. The ones that are very CPU demanding or GPU demanding, they do have them on Steam. Just look for them. You will find them. So that way you can fully test out your PC to make sure it's ready for prime time. At my job, I am at a weird point where I am both support and development. Oh, I remember those days when I was working in restaurants, man. You are just the only one that knows how to fix a computer, kind of thing. So, the more I learn, the harder it is not to yell at people. Yeah. The more you learn, the easier things become. It makes it easier for you to understand over a period of years. The more you learn, the easier it is to pick parts and build what you want. Looking at the specs very carefully and know what those specs are and what the meaning of those specs are means a lot. To be able to go on either Amazon, Newegg, Micro-Stutter, eBay. God, I hate that site. Because it's nothing but I can't even explain it anymore. It's that bad. They sell you crap for gold over there. So, just keep that in mind. That's the reason why I don't buy off of eBay. I really don't. There's other sites you can go to pick your parts without getting robbed, and you don't know what you're buying. Even though that sometimes they'll put, oh, you can get a 30-day money-back guarantee for eBay, but turn around as soon as you bought that, let's say, graphics card, their site goes dark. So the thousands of dollars you spent on a graphics card and their site goes dark, and you're out your money and you're out your card. You gotta be very careful, especially on eBay. There's a lot of crooks out there. Always shop with the place you trust. I work with some great guys. That's cool, man. That is cool. But we build debt collection software. Ooh. Well, okay. That's that's cool. You shouldn't have retracted that, man. I understand where you're coming from, though. I do. Well, guys, I'm going to tell you, all I'm saying is this, okay? My heart is out for the little guys, trying to help them out as much as I can. Even though I know they can't afford much, but I would try to point them in the best direction that I can. You know, so at least they're getting what they paid for. And if I can find it cheaper for them, I'm going to find it cheaper to help them out. You know, seriously. So we all can take this as a small little learning lesson. That just because you have big equipment doesn't mean you can't help that little guy get something, you know, a little something to help them get up to, you know, a standard that they're comfortable with, that they're happy with what they got, that they built their system because you gave them a hand. That's all I'm saying. I try to do the best I can, trying to help the people out day by day, every day, 7 days a week. If you guys notice, I'm on Discord 7 days a week. Have I let up yet? No. Somebody always going to ask me a question, you know, and I'm going to lend them a hand, tell them how to fix it or whatever they need to do, you know, and help them out. That's just me. And also, too, I know I'm behind in, you know, doing videos this month, but in time I will catch them up. Right now, I'm trying to help somebody out to further their, you know, their goal. And I'm helping by taking them to where they need to go. Yeah, I know I've been a little light on the live streams and stuff like that. And I do apologize for that, but sometimes, you know, you got to put real life first. And that's pretty much what I'm doing. But also, too, don't forget any one of you guys, because on Discord, I'm always there. Even if I don't make a daily video, I'm still on Discord. I will still be there to help. So, just to let you know that. And yeah, I won't stop making videos. I have not thought about stop making videos. I'm going to continue to make them. Just not as many right now, but later on I'll start picking it back up again to where I make more videos and start doing more live streams and stuff like that. Just right now, it's kind of a tough time. I'm making whatever videos I can, you know, on information that's out there. There's a lot of information out there. Everybody's sitting there waiting for the Super Series once again for NVIDIA. Everybody's waiting to see what AMD is going to do for the next generation. There's Intel, they're just whatever. So, you know, we understand where you guys want to know what's going on or not, you know. I'm sure most of you guys already understand what's happening on what's leaking around the world right now. I'm sure you guys understand. I'm sure also you guys understand about the 100% tariffs on chips that are not built in the United States. I'm sure you already are familiar with that as well. So, it's not information that you don't already know, and there's no sense of me spewing anything out unless you want to hear my opinion on it. But, you know, I'll give you my opinion on it, what I think about it. But, you know, like I said, when I test equipment, I test and give you facts. But if I'm not testing it, I'll make my opinion. I'll make my judgment on it and let you know what I'm thinking. Everybody does that. That's a part of how the world works. So, My team and I do build software, calling software. That's the fun part. Oh, that's cool. Watery events. As long as your job is exciting and it's keeping you happy, that's all that matters. Simple said and put. It's all that matters. But if you're not happy with it, then, I can't really comment on that. But what I can say is if you are happy with your job, keep rocking with it. Asking for an apology is okay here. It would be a problem on some social media platforms with heated discussions. Bro, sometimes the discussions we have in Discord get hot. Sometimes they go cold. Sometimes they stay medium. Sometimes they hit you in the backside. Sometimes they hit you right in the face. But all in all, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, we're all going to agree on one thing. It was a great day. Simple. Jensen Huang negotiated it down to 15% for Trump instead of 20%. China then asked to not buy the H200 from NVIDIA. If NVIDIA really could not sell these big GPUs anymore, some say gamers benefit then. Truthfully, yeah. Because now, guess what? You got NVIDIA going backwards to kissing everybody's ass, especially the gamers, for making all their screw-ups. And the only way they're going to make it good is that you start bringing down the prices on the graphics cards. And that's the only way they're going to make it good with the gamers, because that's where they screwed up in the beginning, was overpricing their graphics cards for underperforming. Overpriced, underperforming graphics cards. How about that? And everybody was complaining about the price to performance since they first started doing this. So, when they wake up and learn to be a big kid now, then Jensen Huang will start making decent money from the gamers. But he needs to learn to stop being so greedy. And, I don't care if he gives me anything or not. It really doesn't matter to me now. I'm just going to tell him the truth. Learns to stop being so greedy and starts giving back to the gaming community. That'll be the game changer. And stop this teasing with the Super Series. Used to work back a long time ago. You got your normal graphics card, you got your Super Series, and you got your TI series that was supposed to be better than the Super Series. But now it looks like that you got your TI series and then you got your TI Super Series. That's better than the Super Series. And then, it's just big mixed bag of crap. End of the day, they steal performance from you when you buy it in the beginning. And then when they put out a Super Series, it's a kick in the teeth. Simple. You think, oh, this is going to be the only card that they're going to make the best performance for, and then they kick you in the teeth and make a Super Series. And make it at the same price you bought your normal card at. Just like the 4070. The 4070, $599. Then they put out the 4070 Super, $599. Then they put out AMD put out the 7900 GRE, $549. Then they put the 6800 XT, $400 for the 6800 XT. 7800 XT, they put out for $429. These are all cards that circle in the same performance, different prices. You guys will figure it out sooner or later that when they put out the next series cards, they're going to keep them right around the same price as the last series. And then after that, they're going to chokehold you by jacking them up for 6 to 7 months. And then after that, they'll bring it down again. And they'll do like a Black Friday or a Cyber Monday. To think that you're getting a better deal by selling it to you for the same price again. The biggest joke in the world. So, Intel needs to bring back the former CEO. Yeah, they need to bring back Pat so he can take and drain more money out of Intel like they claimed. And why did the president not know Jensen Huang? That was a joke. He did know. He did that as a joke on the stage. That surprised me because in his first term in office, Intel was with him talking about 7-nanometer mode fabs. And of course, there was no other options for that then. Yep. The recent Intel CEO to step down a couple days later, then they were best buddies. Oh yeah, I got you there. Bring back Pat Gelsinger. Pat Gelsinger is an actual engineer. Intel needs him, and so does America. Well, I hate to tell you this, Pat's already moved on from Intel. And I don't think he's going to be going back anytime soon. I think he's running another business. I don't know. I have to look into it. But I heard he was running a different business now. So I don't think he's going to be coming back to Intel. Especially when Intel, the board, the Intel's board, I guess they supposedly cut him his severance check and told him to take a hike. So if their board members can do that, then obviously I would never work for a company that did that. I would fire everybody's butt that was on the board and told everybody to have a nice day, and then picked up my shoes and got onto the running streak and turned that company around. That's what I would have did. So the 7900 GRE has the same performance as the 6950 XT, which is faster than the 7800 XT. Yeah, but all in all, fake frames, it comes down to the end of the day, they all run around the same price point. Simple and done. And that's how they made their money, around the same price point. Even though you can go in between, 5 to 7% performance differences, maybe 2 to 3 on some, but they tried to keep it within a 10% price to performance difference on many of their graphics cards that they called mid-range. Something to think about. So you actually think you're getting something better? Bro, this box here, this power color box right here, that says AMD Radeon 7800 XT. Okay? I've already tested that. And it's running around the same performance as my 4070. Okay? It depends on your CPU and your platform that you're using in order to get better and less restraints on your graphics card. But I take and test each individual graphics card on the same platform with the same processor, the same amount of RAM, and the same game, same everything. Because to see if there's a variation between the different graphics cards. What I found out is on older CPU platforms that some of your graphics cards, they say that's better, are actually running the same. Just on the drivers alone. Not using any eye candy, not using NVIDIA's app or GeForce Now or anything else, not using the Adrenaline software, just the drivers alone. Just the drivers alone on the game. And using the settings in the game. And if you set them the same every time, they're going to average out to be the same. Y'all might disagree with me. The thing is, I've already tried it, I've already tested it, and it come out to the same responses. So no matter which way you look at it, at the end of the day, no matter what card you really buy on an older system, it's still going to be responsive. Depending on the generation platform, okay? When it comes to your graphics card, it depends on the generation. So if you keep it the same generation, you're probably going to get the same responses. But if you change to different generations, going like from 10, 15 years ago all the way up till today on the different generation cards, yeah, you're going to get different responses. So, but to test them all on the same platform with the same GPU, with the same CPU, the same amount of RAM, same everything, gives you one better response of how these cards are reacting compared to doing them on separate motherboards, which you're going to get totally different readings. So, true benchmark comes off of one system. You stick with one system only. You benchmark all your cards off the same system to get your true response from the graphics card. See which one's going to put out the best. Yes, it's a pain in the ass changing the drivers, taking all the drivers out, putting new drivers in, doing it for each individual card. Yeah, it's a pain in the ass. But you have to do it. That's the kicker of it all. That's what I try to accomplish when I test graphics cards. When I do it on the same motherboard with the same CPU processor with the same amount of RAM, and they all, you see the different responses. I try it with older CPU platforms because nowadays days you see more than the 60% that are using older platforms. The ones that are trying to trick Windows 11 to work on an older system kind of thing, yeah, they're still rocking with their older PC. They want to know what they can do to make it better. Yeah, using older systems with graphics cards, you leave a little performance on the table, yes. But when it comes to the end of the day, and you got it rocking just right, and you balance it all out, the rest of it doesn't matter, because you can play your games with no problem, and your GPU will support the usage. So either way you look at it, you can rock out. Yeah, you might get bottlenecked, CPU bottlenecked, because not having enough power with the CPU. But if you balance out your display settings to run very well and keep the settings down to where they're not going to kill your CPU, yeah, you'll have a great gameplay no matter what you play on. So it's not the matter of can the CPU run the graphics card. It's the matter of can you actually tone it down to where you can play the game. Not what the CPU can do, not what the GPU can do. Can you tone your graphics down enough to where you can play the game peacefully without having a nervous breakdown because of what your CPU is doing? So, things you learn when you're building your own PC, especially when you're using a low-end PC. Things you need to know. So, it's a balancing game. You have to learn to balance things down. And if you can do that and play on an older system and not call it a potato and be able to play on it for a month and be happy with it, you'll see the difference when you go to your new system compared to the older system that you built just to play on for a whole month, to see if that's gonna make you happy, having lower settings. You guys think about it. That's just my 2 cents on it, because I'm the kind of person that says, okay, well, you know what, you can play games on older systems, you can make it work, but it's up to you to tone down your display settings to make it work. Balance it. What do you think I do to mine? I balance it. I balance it to make it run just the way I want it to run. So this way, it doesn't kill my CPU, doesn't kill my GPU, doesn't kill the motherboard, doesn't kill the RAM, doesn't kill the SSD, doesn't kill the power supply, doesn't kill the case because of the heat making it bend. Because the way they cheaply make cases nowadays, when you get too much heat in the case, what does metal do? It bends. And guess what happens to your motherboard after too much heat? It bends. So you don't want to get the bends. Make sure you have everything properly set so you don't get the bends. So, okay. Let's see what you guys been writing. See if I can catch back up. Patrick loved barbecue, steaks, and family. Tan tries hard to think. I wouldn't blame him, but America needs intel. That's a fact. Well, yeah, probably. I do agree with that. With all the jumping on stages, Pat Gelsinger was more memorable in a couple years. Lip Bhutan might have more memes too. Huh. You're probably right there, MTBK. My wife's 1080 Ti still pulls great numbers. That's cool there, Watery Events. See, this is what people need to hear. They think buying the newest and the greatest is better than what somebody had back years ago. Like, the stuff in the past don't work anymore kind of thing, but people realize that you can still make older PC parts rock. Then you'll learn how PCs work if you can make older PCs jump top hoops and stuff like that. But if you can't, then you might as well give up building PCs. Your experiment should try on the older PCs and work your way up the field. And then you'll start seeing something a little bit different. That older PCs still will rock. I know it. Everybody else knows it. So, RX 9060 reviews incoming soon. We all know that everybody's going to be on Reddit and they're going to be chopping at the 9060 like they did the 5050. But everybody realized that the 5050 can live stream, content create. Might not be able to game as much, but it's doing a hell of a lot better than the Core 9 processor Intel put out. So think about it. The 9060 is going to have worse price to performance than the 9060 XT 8GB or the RTX 5060. The 9060 is going to be around 3060 Ti or 6700 XT. You're probably right there, fake frames. You're probably right. My wife's 1080 Ti is on a Xeon W2135. Not bad. Not bad. Not bad. 900 watt platinum PSU and 24 gigabytes of ECC RAM. Nice. If it rocks, it rocks. That's, that's the best thing. If you're happy with it, roll with it. The Intel YouTube channel published a video called AI Agents for the U.S. Military. Intel 2 days ago. Damn. Great thing about the 10 series NVIDIA cards is that they will be rock solid on Linux in the next month. Yeah, true. Well, look, I'm hoping that NVIDIA cards on Linux will start taking off and start really rocking like AMD does. But, it's going to take Jensen Huang to crack down a little bit and try to put out there to the devs that are helping build these updated drivers for NVIDIA cards. Maybe if NVIDIA would support them a little bit better, we would have better drivers on Linux. That's just my 2 cents. So, but anyway, guys, it is 12 a.m. here. I have to get up in approximately 4.5 hours to do a little bit of driving so I can get back here and get tomorrow's video made for you guys. Is it tomorrow's video or today's video? Oh, it's today's video because now it's Friday. So, but anyway, guys, I'm going to jump out of here. It's good chatting with you, and thank you for coming back and sticking with me on this little incident with the internet. Now that it's all squared away, hopefully it'll be squared away for Saturday, and hopefully we can come up with a decent time for Saturday as well. But anyway, damn, the same here. got talk to them debt collectors. Yeah, right. You have a great evening, morning, wherever the case is, there, MTBK, and everybody too. You have a great morning, evening, or whatever. But anyway, if you made it to the end of the live stream, and we appreciate you, and when I meant we, it means me. I appreciate you guys. I always do. Especially when you join the live stream, rock with me for a couple hours and have fun. Hopefully you're having fun. I'm having fun too. But anyway, if you made it to the end, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Help our channel grow. My channel, our channel. It's our channel. My channel and our channel. Somewhere there. And also too, don't forget about hitting that like button. They do have it for the live feed. You know, you can click on the like button. It would help YouTube put us out there more. And don't forget about your notification bell. So that way you know when I post the next video or live stream or whatever. Until the next time, in the next video. You guys know who it is, and we'll see you on the next one.